Welcome, traveler. You found Third Shift HFY. The story begins now.
They told me humans were efficient. That was the word they used. Efficient. As though describing a machine, or a clean cut through fabric. The commission summoned me on the 5th rotation of the obsidian cycle, when the air over the capital still smelled of dust and policy. I remember the officials speaking with calm detachment, their eyes reflecting the ceiling lights more than each other. They said the Zephyrian gift of perception, our ability to hear emotion as resonance, made me ideal for observation. I was to accompany a coalition detachment to Karos, a world already broken by the Threxid rebellions, where humanity had been deployed to stabilize the surface. Stabilize. Another clean word for another dirty truth. I thought I understood war. We all did. The Zephyrians fought once, long ago, until we grew tired of the noise. We built cities that hummed at peaceful frequencies and forbade anything that could break harmony. I believed that made us civilized. But when the dropships entered Karos's atmosphere, I realized civilization and silence were not the same thing. The planet below burned. Rivers of glass ran between the husks of cities, and beneath the static of comms chatter, I heard something deeper, a pulse. It came from the humans' formation, a rhythmic order, steady and unhurried, each heartbeat in perfect time with the next. When they deployed, the sound shifted from rhythm to intention. It was not fear, it was not anger, it was purpose, the pure, merciless kind. I activated my recorder then. It's strange what the mind preserves, the sight of their boots cutting furrows in the ash, the whisper of air around the rifles they carried, the quiet before an entire continent exhaled. That was my first lesson. Efficiency is not silence. It is control, sharpened until even horror obeys. They deployed at dawn, though on Karos. Dawn meant only a shift in the colour of the smoke. The ash glowed faintly gold for a few breaths before turning grey again. I stood on a ridge above the plain, wrapped in the filtered haze of my visor, and began to record. The humans moved with a precision I had never heard. Their formation emitted a pulse so steady it felt unnatural. Every step, every breath, synchronized through unseen code. I had expected noise, chaos, the wild chorus of fear that all sentients release in battle. There was none. When the Threxid militia emerged from the ruins, I thought the humans would answer in kind, with shouts, with rage. Instead, the rhythm deepened, a pattern of short bursts from their weapons, perfectly timed, as if the firefight itself had been rehearsed. Through my resonance sense, emotion usually translates to tone. Courage is a bright, harmonic surge. Desperation is jagged static. But from the humans came only silence, no absence, containment. They advanced without voice, without visible emotion, as though empathy had been locked away for efficiency's sake. I felt the first sting of nausea then, the sensory dissonance of beings who kill in perfect composure. The Threxid line broke within minutes. I watched creatures twice the human size scatter like dust in wind. Every retreating frequency screamed panic, yet the human rhythm did not change. When the last echo faded, I realized my hands were trembling. My instruments continued to record, but I turned the volume down. Not from technical error, from instinct. I had learned that even perfection has a frequency, and it can be unbearable to hear. I told myself I could endure it. Observation was duty. Detachment was survival. But detachment has a breaking point. By the 2nd rotation, the human rhythm had changed. Their formations split, half advancing, half kneeling in defensive posture. From orbit, the enemy reinforcements arrived, descending in a storm of plasma fire. The ground rippled with concussive force. Every Zephyrian sensor in my body vibrated at once, each impact translating into sound, a choir of destruction. Humans did not retreat, they folded into cover, their movements unbroken. For every blast that fell, they rebuilt their pattern. I heard them adjust in real time. They learned the rhythm of annihilation and began to play along. That was when I felt it, the first true dissonance. They were not calm anymore. Beneath the perfect order, something dark arose, a hum, deep and primal, reverberating through my bones. It wasn't rage, it wasn't fear, it was momentum. Each human heartbeat synchronized with that sound. Each step struck the same frequency until the battlefield itself seemed to tremble in response. The enemy screamed, their harmonic scattered into chaos. But the humans, oh. They grew quiet again. Too quiet. Purpose became inevitability. Every motion a verdict. When their assault ended, the plane no longer existed. Only glass, still hot enough to reflect the sky. The humans stood at its center, weapons lowered, waiting for the order to move again. I could not move. I realized I had covered my ears, though sound was never the problem. It was the absence of emotion, the total silence within beings capable of such devastation. I thought I had heard the voice of gods before. I was wrong. Gods scream when they create. Humans do it in silence. I was meant to file a report. That was my assignment. A simple assessment of efficiency, casualty ratios, and morale stability. The recorder still blinks beside me now, patient and silent, waiting for my words to become data. But how does one quantify silence? After the battle, the humans did not celebrate. They did not mourn. They stood amid the glassed plain as the wind cooled the molten earth, and for a long while, they simply looked at what they had done. The smoke bent around them like a living thing, unwilling to touch. I approached from the ridge, uncertain whether they would even notice me. One of them turned, eyes unreadable behind the visor's dim reflection. I waited for hostility, for warning, for command. There was none. He only nodded once, then walked away, boots cracking the still soft glass. The others followed. Their silence moved like gravity. Every step left a perfect impression that caught the fading light. The Threxid signals never returned. Entire frequencies vanished from orbit. When the Coalition asked for confirmation, I sent my answer in the only way I could. I transmitted the sound of the battlefield after they were gone. No harmonics, no resonance, only wind. Now I understand why they call humanity a contagion. It isn't because they spread destruction. It's because they change what survives it. I hear the echoes even now, hidden beneath every quiet frequency in the city around me. When I close my eyes, I still see them standing in the ash, motionless, listening to their own silence. I was ordered to watch humans in battle. I did. And in the silence that followed, I learned what fear truly sounds like. It sounds like awe.